Welcome to the Take Cover Podcast with your hosts, Jacob and Chase. Viewer discretion is advised.
And we are live once again, Wednesday, 6 p.m.-ish, Take Cover Podcast. We are here, and we are brought to you by Bluegrass Outfitters. Bluegrass Outfitters has you covered for all your outdoor apparel needs. Visit them at www.bluegrassoutfitters.shop or any social media platform. We appreciate them for sponsoring the podcast. And check it out over here. If I'll turn the camera over to Mr. Jacob, look at that. Rocking the Bluegrass Outfitters gear right now.
This is a comfortable fucking hat.
Yeah, it looks good too. That's I was worried about the hunting orange being a little too orange, but that's like a cool orange.
Yeah.
It's
almost like a Can-Am red.
Yeah. It's pretty slick. I like the hat a lot. The black and orange looks good.
Yeah, it's cool.
Also, and if you guys didn't hear, we will also have a giveaway going on here in a little bit for some Bluegrass Outfitters merchandise. That'll be a little bit later in the stream.
Down there on the bottom of that shelf.
That's
no one
right.
else can see.
Last minute Christmas gift. We'll try and get those to you as quickly as possible. But with that being said, Jacob, I'll turn it over to you.
All right, guys. Well, we are here with Kasey Kelly, and it's actually kind of interesting because I was just playing Call of Duty one night, and my phone started ringing. I was like, what the hell? And you were calling me on Facebook. And I was like, I don't know who's calling me or anything. So I messaged you. I was like, what's going on, man? And you're like, can you talk on the phone? I was like, I don't know who you are. What's going on? And you're like, well, just call me when you get a chance. I was like, okay. So I called you back, and here we are. So I know absolutely nothing about you other than just kind of the brief synopsis you gave me on the phone when we scheduled it. So why don't we just start on like who you are?
All right, so my name is Kasey Kelly. I'm born and raised here in Owensboro. The reason I got in contact with you guys is because I saw your podcast and it highly intrigued me. I was like, well, okay, these guys are local. They're on to something, podcast. Got a pretty good following. I want to be a part of this thing. So immediately I networked, contacted with you, and we got the ball rolling. So pretty much what I'm doing is I'm a singer-songwriter. I was recently on television. But other than that, I'm just a local person trying to shed love and light, man. And I was just telling you guys beforehand, before we got this started, I recently just quit my job. That's
the dream, right?
It is, in a sense. It's true freedom. And I realized that my ultimate job is to just serve other people, you know what I mean, and share the love and light of Christ. I'm a Christian. That's what I believe. And no hard feelings against anybody that doesn't believe anything other than that. I just believe in Christ consciousness. Like, I am you and you are me. We are one.
Okay.
And I realized that my true job is to make sure that people are getting loved and people are seeing the light of Christ. And unfortunately, when I was at work, it was taking me away from doing that. So I quit my job, and for the last 2 weeks, I've been just loving people that normally don't get love. I've been down at Tent City. I don't know if you guys know what that is.
No, I don't. I heard you talk a little bit about it on the phone.
Julius Maddox, actually the strongest man in the entire world.
Oh, Julius. That's who that was? That's what's up.
He just gave me a call, and he was like, hey, man, where can I drop these pizzas off for Christmas down to these guys at Tent City? And, I've known Julius my whole life. He's also a Christian. He sheds a lot of love here in our hometown.
Yeah.
And there's a homeless community that lives on the Ohio riverbanks. And they're about 85 deep right now. There's 85 homeless people living in tents, or they have shelter that's been made by hand down there. And ultimately, it's a pretty sad thing. A lot of people down there are there by choice. However, there's a lot of mental illness. There's a lot of depression.
I was about to ask. We've got like 3 homeless shelters, right?
I believe there's a men's homeless shelter, St. Benedict's, and I have actually stayed there, so I know it's a great place.
Okay.
And I know that they reject people all the time that are under the influence of alcohol.
Oh, okay.
So if you've been drinking at all whatsoever, it doesn't matter if you're homeless or not, they don't allow you to come into the facility. And unfortunately, there's a lot of...
I guess that could make some sense.
Yeah, it can. Yeah. It's for their safety, you know, and liability. But the thing about it is, there's still a need for people who drink.
Yeah.
And there's still a need for people who consume drugs. I just think that, unfortunately, people have a stigma. They're a drug addict, they're an alcoholic. They don't deserve help, and there's people that are getting combed over and looked over. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of people. There's a huge need and demand for the mental,
especially
mentally
right
ill.
now. I mean, we're in the
Christmas time. I mean, this is a
Christmas pandemic. You know, we got COVID-19 going on.
It's outrageous, isn't it? And
knocking
a lot
tons
of
of people out of their
depression,
homes.
depression. You know,
Yeah.
and with mental illness and substance abuse at that, you have a lot of people in ultimate trauma right now, and they need love and they need support. And fortunately enough, you know, I called out on the internet. I didn't know how I was going to do it. I was like, okay, how can I reach as many people as I can at one time? The internet, you know, kind of like you guys are doing.
Right. Yeah.
And I made a call out, and I had so much help flow in. I had help from TD's Tough Decisions.
Oh, very cool.
If you guys know where that
yeah.
is, it's the Thinking
Right
Man
on
on Frederick
Frederica.
Street. Yes,
Yeah.
they became like a hub spot for me, and people started donating jackets and shoes and clothes. And a women's group called the Owls, it's Owensboro's Women League. It's women over the age of 50. They got involved, and
Okay. No 49-year-olds allowed?
Unfortunately, I think they're just 50 and older.
I got you.
But-
Damn it. I was going to put it in my app.
I hear you, man. I hear you. But, you know, they're all about helping and supporting, and I think
Yeah.
they would like to mentor younger women. It's more of a women's thing. But then obviously, like Julius Maxey's chipped in. If you saw any of my previous posts earlier in December, he actually went and put a jacket on a baby, about a 3-year-old baby who needed a coat.
That's
And I
cool.
called out on the internet. I was like, hey, guys, there's some people that are getting looked over in our community. There's some people that really need some love. There's some people that need attention and affection. And he answered the call, man. He showed up with another lady, Deanne Carbon. She's in the Black Lives Matter movement. She actually ran for office here in Owensboro.
Wow. Okay.
And she's a great lady. I've been working with her. And she helped with the shoe drive. And everything's kind of just been coming together. I called some people out on the internet. I was like, hey, calling out the body of Christ. How can we come together and serve our community? And, man, blessings have been pouring in, dude. So
That's awesome, man.
I mean, you've asked a little bit about me. That's what's going on with me right now. Background history: I am a recovering drug addict. I have been homeless. I've died of a drug overdose.
Oh, you actually died?
I died. Yeah, I died
Wow,
of a
how
drug
long were you
overdose.
dead?
I was dead long enough for me to leave my body, and
Okay, so I've definitely got to hit the brakes because I want to know all the fuck about
we
that.
can, we can talk all about that.
I want to
Yeah.
know all about that. So one of my good friends in school, obviously we'll leave the name out, but his dad passed away like 3 separate times during an operation that had gone
You
bad.
talked about leaving his body, right?
And well, I never talked to him personally. I heard from him, but we were kids, so I kind of, you know, when you're a kid and you hear a story, you kind of decipher what you think is kind of true, despite what's hyperbole. So
Okay.
I'm excited to hear firsthand from somebody who's actually
I have no
lived
problem.
through that.
Yeah, I mean,
well,
it was
in a
definitely,
sense.
it was traumatizing.
Yeah.
When I came back into my body, I definitely saw it with a new paradigm. It's a whole new lens.
Mm-hmm.
I saw things from a whole new perspective, and my reality was shattered. I will tell you that.
Okay, so if you don't care, what was the drug of choice?
Oh, well, actually, at that time, I was really strung out on crystal methamphetamine. Like,
Okay,
strung
that's
out
got to
bad on
be fantastic, right?
And that's not. I mean, there's perks to the drug. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, obviously, you know, people are like, "Oh man, you're cranked out of your mind." Blah blah blah. Well, I think that
Yeah.
it gets a bad rap. It's used more or less no different than Adderall for children. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Or
we've
people-
definitely
like,
heard that
I've
before
always-
here on the show.
I've lived a very sheltered life, just like with, you know, my parents in general. But if like how do you go about getting into, like, if somebody like puts meth in front of you and what is that decision like where you're like, yeah, I'll do that?
I'll tell you the truth. The very first time I ever did methamphetamine, I was about 13 or 14 years old.
Wow.
Yeah, I've been using drugs the majority of my life, smoking marijuana pretty much daily from the age of 12. It's nothing to brag about. It's just who I
No,
am. You asked
right,
a little
yeah,
bit about me. So,
absolutely.
I guess you could say that I've been using drugs for the majority of my life. The very first time I ever used crystal meth, which is very bad here in Kentucky,
Very bad.
the
yeah.
individual that looked at me and said, "You're going to hate me for the rest of your life."
Oh,
And
man.
he said that, and I remember I was 13 years old, and he was 13 too. And he said, before he put it into my hands,
Wow.
he said, "You will remember this day for the rest of your entire life, and you will hate me for the rest of your life."
Did
And
that
I recently just
come
saw
true?
him. No, actually, I don't hate that individual. I did have resentment for a while for introducing that drug to me. I just saw him. He's in a regional chemical dependency program, so he's in recovery.
Good for
He's
him.
got himself into rehabilitation. He's got his life together, and actually, I remembered that memory with him. I was like, I still remember the very first time that I ever used with you. And I said, I don't hate you. I said, no, but I do appreciate you saying that to me before you ever gave me the drug.
Right,
You know?
yeah.
Because
It
that's
was
like a
kinda
little
it was
tagline.
it
Self-awareness
was, you know, it
for
was
a
more or less like a, hey, here's
kid.
your Surgeon General's warning.
Yeah.
Just to be all the way, I was like, that was
Right.
your surgery. That was it. That was
Like,
the warning. Yeah,
that's that to me. This is the coolest part of our podcast is that we get to interact with people of all walks. Because me and
Absolutely,
Chase,
man.
but Chase can tell you firsthand too. He's been very sheltered. I've been very sheltered, and
Okay,
so
that's cool, man.
yeah.
Yeah,
So and like we're both very basic fucking people. We go to work 9 to 5, and we have very rarely dabbled in anything that makes us uncomfortable or out
And
of
I
the straight
totally
and narrow.
understand, and I'm completely and 110%
Yeah.
transparent. So
Right, so,
I'm gonna
but-
be blatant honest with you. Like,
Yeah,
if
that-
you want to
and
know
that's
something,
what's
I'll
great.
tell you the truth.
And from like my perspective, from the outside looking in, obviously the whole meth head thing is like a real bad stigma on the drug in general. So I always think of like, growing up, you always hear, oh, he's on meth, oh, this person's on meth, and it's always in a negative connotation. So I've always been curious about in your situation, you were 13, so that's a completely different story. But I've always wondered, like, at what point do you go, yeah, that sounds like a good idea, when it's been just pounded and pounded and pounded that it's a bad
I wouldn't
thing.
suggest anybody trying the drug if they aren't getting ready to go to hell. Like, I mean, that's my surgeon journey. Like that, you want to hear
Yeah.
the warning? Like, straight up, if you want to go to hell and walk in hell, then go ahead and try crystal meth, because you're not going to try it. You're going to continue to use it until it takes everything from you.
Yeah.
I mean, it'll take your life, your family, your friends. It'll take everything, every last penny you ever worked for, and then whatever you can steal, scrounge to try to get more to get to. You know what I mean? And
What the hell does it feel like that it is that powerful over people?
I think honestly, it's the fact of the matter that it masks and consumes all feeling. It's the euphoria that you
Okay.
get. It's if you've ever taken, I see you're drinking a Bang, and I see your Bang. So why do you drink that Bang? Does it give you energy?
Yeah.
So it gives you a quick rush, right?
Right.
Okay, imagine that rush times like 1,000, and having
Okay.
that hit you at one time, and not only that, like any pain, any discomfort that you're experiencing, any anxiety that you're going through, anything that you're going through, like a lack of confidence, anything that you can imagine going on in your life, that just disappears for a moment, because like you just
Wow,
hit this huge
okay.
rush, and it gives you energy, motivation, and it gives you this false sense. Like, that's what people think called chasing the dragon. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
And like, if the first time you hit it, it just hits you so hard that you want to continue to try to find that rush.
Right.
And you never will. Unfortunately, you just never.
So
get
is
it
that
again.
what led up to your eventual OD? Is just trying to get that feeling back from the
No,
first time?
actually, what happened with me, and not gonna share any names or anything like that, but
No. Yeah.
Of course not.
I mean, I've dealt with a lot of trauma, not as an excuse. My bad, I got away from the mic.
Yeah, just scoot up to it a little bit, and you're fine.
Really, what really set me off, a really good friend of mine blew his brains out in the church parking lot after talking to me about getting molested by a local priest here in town. And I was already taking Vyvanse, chemically prescribed Vyvanse at the time. And
Okay. What is that?
Vyvanse is for me. I'm ADHD. I have attention deficit disorder.
Okay.
So, and I started getting this in high school, and also was prescribed all through college. Helped me get my papers taken care of.
Okay.
Kept me on task. Kept me focused. And I started abusing my Vyvanse, honestly, after a good buddy of mine, David, took his life.
Yeah.
And I was trying to find that numbness. And he confided in me and talked about getting molested by a local priest. And it really rocked my
Is
world.
that priest still local?
They removed him, which happens, that happens.
They juggle them around.
Yeah. They move them. All right.
And that really rocked my world, guys, like for real. And
Yeah. I had one of my good friends shoot himself as well. So I didn't turn to that, but I turned to humor, which is what I often do.
And I
So
wish I would have turned to humor instead of drugs, but unfortunately, I dug deeper
That's
into
what you
it.
know, man.
Yeah,
You're
and
13
right,
years old
it's
getting
what
in the
I used
game.
to
like-
comfort, it's a comfort
Right.
thing.
So-
And it was a
You guys can continue here a second. Just a couple of comments. We got Doug Devine in here, said, me, Mark Douglas, love you, Kasey. And Shane Gilmore said, Kasey, what's up? Dakota Kendall said, what's up as well. So shout out to you guys.
Shout out
Thanks
to you
for
guys.
sharing
Shout
that.
out, man. Shout out to these guys. And Mark Douglas. If y'all know who Mark Douglas is, he's one of the best Owensboro local wrestlers. You know, wrestling.
Oh,
If y'all
yeah.
know about wrestling.
Hey, we got old Doug Devine. We had old Judah
Doug
in here.
Devine, DJ.
Yeah, oh Judah.
But Judah don't want none. When I work in the ring, I jump off the turnbuckle and hit him with that 420 bong water splash. He knows all about that.
Oh man,
You don't want none. You don't want
He don't
none.
want none. He knows all about it. No, he's good people though, and also Shane's a great guy. I known him. We used to catch some rays at Atlantis.
Hell
It
yeah.
was a good place. But I mean, I've got a lot of local people that know me, man. But back to the drugs, like I don't know, like I started using heavier after that happened in my life, and I was smoking marijuana regularly, and I guess weed was putting me down. I was trying to speed myself up and playing God, you know what I mean, and
Right.
trying to find
Trying to
this
find a
happy
balance.
medium, dude, you know,
Yeah.
and it just everything just kind of went haywire,
Mm-hmm.
and then I ended up dropping out of school. I ended up finding out that I was gonna have a kid.
So you were still in high
I was still
school?
in college.
Oh, college,
Yeah,
okay.
so I ended up dropping out of college when I find out that I'm going to be a single dad.
Hmm.
And that scared me pretty good. I was like, oh, man, what am I going to do? And
Yeah.
this girl that I was on and off with for like 7 years tells me, like, hey, I'm pregnant. It might be your kid. It might not be your
Ooh.
kid. One of those ordeals. And I was like,
Ugh,
okay, what do I
man.
do here? So I
Where's the book for this?
yeah, there is no
Yeah.
handbook on this one. So I was like,
Right.
all right, what do I do here? Obviously, I continue to use even more drugs and drop out of school, move back to Owensboro, end up getting a place where we could all live together and end up having a beautiful baby boy. And things didn't work out between me and his mom, and that hurt really bad. I
Yeah.
still have a great son. He's 7 years old today. If you can check my feed.
Aw.
We just had an early Christmas with my sister and everything
Yeah.
like that. But yeah, and then that was a hectic adventure in life. And then I found out that there was some sexual abuse going on in the family, and that's what set me all the way off, where I didn't want to live anymore. And I know the reason I'm bringing this up is because before I ever got on this podcast, you told me it was kind of an open wire,
Very open, man.
mic,
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
This like
Open
And,
conversation.
yeah, don't feel like you have to.
And
filter
I'm
yourself.
not. That's why I'm just letting you guys know where I'm coming from.
Yeah.
Like, so when that happened, I didn't want to live anymore. Like I can.
So it was a deliberate decision?
Well, like at that moment in time, like I confided in my family. I found out that there was some sexual
pulled out
abuse
from
going on
underneath you, yeah.
in my family. You know what I mean? And it hurt me really bad. So I was like, I confided in the only people that I knew. They knew I was on drugs. They immediately wigged out, and I feel like everybody giving up on me. You know what
So
I'm saying?
did they use your drug use to just discredit what
Pretty
you were
much.
feeling?
I
see.
think that, and the same thing. Also, they know who I am and they know my character, and they know I can be a very violent person.
I see.
And they didn't want me to do anything that would result in injury or bodily harm to anyone. You know what I'm saying? They didn't want me to do something that would be
Freak out.
Yeah, exactly. So they try to downplay the situation as much as possible to prevent any injury or any harm that would come to anybody. You know what I'm saying? So when that happened, it was like, all right, I give up. And unfortunately, when I bought a bag, somebody had given me some bad drugs. It was Flocka. It was bath salts instead of what I was normally supposed to get.
Oh, damn.
And whenever I bought a pretty significant amount because I just wanted to be numb. And I ended up getting some bath salts instead.
So is on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being impossible, or I'll say, 10 being impossible, how hard is it to get drugs, like hard drugs like crystal meth, in Owensboro right now?
Oh man, that's not even. We won't even go there, dude. It's
Well,
not
like
hard
on
at all.
a
It's
1
not
to
very
10.
hard at all.
So like a
bro.
2?
There's not even a scale for it.
Really?
There's really not a scale for it, man.
That's crazy.
It's
man.
bad. It's bad here, and there's
Yeah,
a reason there's
yeah.
so many federal agencies like pumping money into this town. I mean, that's
There's a lot of money being made. We'll say that.
Yeah.
Without being a rat, if you will. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I don't work for the cops. I know there's a lot of agents out here, a lot of people that do work for police agencies that are getting drugs funneled into them and they're making money off of it, and they're kind
Really?
of just telling on each other, and other people are telling on those people, and those people are telling those people, which I guess it's a way to keep drugs in a circuit, if you will. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you kind of always also kind of gonna wonder like who's really winning here. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But that's a whole different conversation.
Very.
We're going to focus this on
Yeah.
more of a positive limelight, I would
Yeah.
hope. But like I was saying, like, yeah, I ended up getting a bad bag of dope. It ended up being Flocka, bath salts. And actually, funny, you're talking about agencies and stuff. Whenever I get this bag, I was getting followed, and I wasn't paranoid. I really was getting followed by some people that planned on setting me up and get me with possession.
Ooh.
And I felt it, and I was in tune, so I ended up eating the whole bag instead of getting caught
Oh,
with it.
shit, man.
And I ate probably like 2 or 3 grams of bath salts at one time and ended up dying
Oh shit!
Ran out of my vehicle, stripped off all my clothes, got naked, ended up losing my life. I remember gasping, taking the very last breaths that I could remember taking, and gasping for air, and I knew I was dying. And I screamed out at the top of my lungs, God, I fucked up. God, help me. I know you can help me. I know I fucked up. Help me.
Yeah.
And I crumbled. I hit my knees, fell face first into the grass, and I remember taking 2 handfuls of grass and made the shape of the cross on the ground and left my body. And I was looking at myself laying on the ground dead, and I was surrounded by all of the police department and EMTs. And to be all honest with you guys, what to me at that time were entities that I'd never seen before. I thought they were aliens. Today I understand them as being angels. And the reason I called them aliens is because they were different to me. You know what I mean? I'd never seen anything of that nature. I've never seen anything of that caliber. I've never seen anything of that specimen. It was alien to me. And at that time I rejected it and was immediately terrified of the aliens.
Did you have like conscious thought? Were you looking at the situation outside of your body and going, damn? Like, do you remember?
I remember thinking whenever I was looking at myself getting higher and higher away from my floating body, and I'm seeing these cops fighting for my life and these EMTs fighting for my life, and then I'm seeing these aliens that are surrounding my body, and they're putting this light energy back into my body, like they were surrounding me, and they were all in a unison and vibrational harmony. And they were like trying to get the EMTs away, and they were trying to get the cops away from my dead body. And it was like there was a spiritual war literally going on right above my body.
Wow.
What'd
they look like?
To be all honest with you, they reminded me of what a lot of people refer to as alien grays. The Zeta Reticulum, elongated by gray heads, no noses, big beady eyes. But today I understand those to me as being angels.
Did they have wings?
These did not. However, they did have patches that looked a lot like EMTs patches. They had serpent.
So they weren't clothes?
They had what looked like to me, honestly, the old tapes that come out of like a tape cassette player. The tape that comes out of it, that filmy string.
Yeah.
Imagine that not in a tape cassette and like woven, like chain mailed together, like suits made out of that. And that's what their clothes were made out of. It was so cool. It was cool. You know what I'm saying? I was taking it so much at one time. It was like, whoa, this is really wild. You know what I mean? And they brought me back into my body. And I remember whenever I was taking the breaths back into my body after these angels that I understand them as being today had put my life back into me, I was in handcuffs. And the Owensboro Police Department kept on asking me what my name was. And I told them 3 times in a row. They said, "What is your name?" I said, "Yahweh." And they said, "What is your name?" And I said, "Yahweh." And they asked me one more time. They said, "What is your name?" And I told them Yahweh, and the handcuffs fell off my wrists. And today I understand Yahweh as being I am that I am. It was the word that Jesus Christ used to explain when people asked him what his name was or who he was.
Okay.
But I know that the spirit that brought me back into this world, the light that they put back into me, I believe to this day is the Holy Spirit. I know that I died at that time, and a new birth occurred in my life. And it's hard to explain that, but I'm glad I'm put on a platform today right before Christmas.
Yeah.
Whenever I died, a new spirit came into me and birthed me, and that spirit to me is known as the Holy Spirit. So I guess what you would like to call a heavenly host.
Very cool.
I host a heavenly spirit, and that's what I know to be the Holy Spirit. And I know that it's a wild perspective, and it's almost a radical view.
No, I don't think it's radical at all.
I think it's a perfect time to share it with the world, especially being Christmas, Christmas right now at the time, which means more Christ. And I think too many people are worried about a commercialized holiday. They're worried about what's under the tree, what present I can get, who I can suffice with a monetary gift other than what the true representation and reasoning meaning of Christmas is.
Yeah.
Which is to show more love and more Christ, which we're all Christ if we love each other and treat each other as gold, which we are. And like that's what I'm trying to do with my life now. And it was really hard to try to do that and trying to explain the events that happened to me. But I feel like this is really the first time I've ever been put in a position to do it in such a subtle way.
We're happy to provide it, man.
So I appreciate it.
I want to back up a little bit because, like I said, I'm super interested in this. So I want to so in every movie you ever see where someone dies and they get brought back to life, they have to make like a conscious decision on whether to go back or not. What you were floating away from your body looking down. Was there any kind of decision that took place, or were you watching them put this light into you, and then
Yeah,
you
the
just like
decision-
blinked and
the
woke up
decision
in your
was made-
body?
The decision was made for me.
Did you feel like you were being dragged back to your body, or did you just there or something?
I'll get there right here.
Okay.
The decision was made for me. Or in the Bible, it talks about no one has ever seen the face of God. However, it does talk about an individual that wrestled with an angel of God and dislocated his hip. Now, I'm not going to get biblical on you guys, but when he did, he dislocated his hip when he wrestled with an angel of God. His name was Jacob, and he wrestled all night long with an angel of God, an alien, if you will, wrestled with them all night long. And when he dislocated his hip, he reached a level where he saw the face of God, and they call this place pineal, Pineal.
Pineal gland.
Pineal gland. It talks about in the Old Testament, in the mountain that they referred to him as being always called the pineal mount. At that time in my life, that light that I was referring to you guys was this. And they opened up my third eye. So that's what happened to me whenever I was talking about the Holy Spirit entering me, and I had a new paradigm, that new lens. I'm not saying that I saw the face of God, but I will say that I saw the face of what was higher than the creation that I am. So it was a residency of harmony. But the decision was made for me. That light that I saw, whenever I saw the ultimate being that opened this up for me, it said, fill up the boat.
Fill up the boat.
It said, fill up the boat and cast me back down to earth.
Fill up the boat.
That's all it said to me. Fill up the boat.
Fill up the boat. What do you think that meant?
It means I need to be a true fisher of men. I know that I personally believe that that seal that I received is what it talks about in Revelation as being the seal of the 144,000. I think that we personally are all living in Revelation at the moment. It doesn't have an S on the end of the chapter. It's Revelation, meaning that once you're revealed to the truth, it's continuous revelation. It's not a revelations with an S. That means there's no end to it. It's a continuous revelation.
Okay.
And I think that that 144,000 people on this earth will be sealed. And I think it's their responsibility to lead, love, and light this world up to the best of their ability. And that means to be true fishers of men. It means to go find God's children that are getting downtrodden on. It means to go find God's children that are living on the riverbank. It means to go find people that are dealing with addiction. It means to find people that have not found a church and be the church, because church has no walls. And that means going out and finding people that are on the corners begging for money, or, you know what I'm saying, and just giving them a hug or talking to them and asking what their name is, because to my understanding, those people are the good Samaritans. Or it also says, you know, be weary, for you never know what angel you're entertaining. And I think there's a lot of angels that walk amongst us, especially in this town right here. I think there's a lot of angels of God that walk amongst us in the flesh, but they're not really human. And I know that's very wild, but I personally believe that in my heart. And right now is a time of trial.
I'm all for it, man.
Right now is a time trial. It's a time trial that we're all experiencing, especially here in this Mecca of a holy city. We have more churches per capita than anybody else.
Here?
We have a ton of churches.
I know we got I figured Texas would take that
No,
lead.
check
I
this
know
out.
they've got more
Check
So you
super
got more
churches.
space there.
If you look at where
Yeah.
we're at, guys,
true.
check this out. We live in the wealthiest per capita diocese in the whole entire world. That means the Owensboro Catholic Diocese. There's more
Your
money.
pick?
There's more. We live in the wealthiest per capita. That means amount of people diocese in the whole entire world, and we were run by the Roman Catholic Church. So we are in the wealthiest diocese in the U.S. per capita and in the world per capita. So yeah, I do believe that wholeheartedly God's angels and God's children and God's people are walking amongst the Mecca, if you will, of the Roman Catholic Church. And they do their best. They do their best, but are they really doing their best? And I say that, and it's going to really ruffle a lot of feathers, but I walk by cathedrals. And if you haven't seen our cathedrals, they have gold ceilings.
They're pretty beautiful.
They're immaculate.
Wow.
And I look how big they are, and I was like, wow, a lot of homeless people could probably sleep in there.
Yeah.
And I look at a lot of these churches, these super churches. You have movie theaters,
Yeah.
and you have churches that house, what, 10,000, 20,000 people if they really wanted to, right?
Yeah.
But a lot of homeless people could probably sleep in there, couldn't they?
could.
Might ruffle some feathers though, right? So
Yeah.
then like I start thinking about the need on the street. I start thinking about the people who really need help. And I'm not saying that the churches are doing bad, but are they doing their best? And so I'm taking a radical view on it, especially going into this is 2020 vision right now, right, with 2021 aspirations. So my 2021 aspirations are, you know, say make sure that there are no homeless people here in a hometown of mine that has so many churches
Yeah.
and opportunities for people to serve the body of Christ. You know what I mean? Isn't that an idealistic goal? Wouldn't that be something supreme to do here, especially in the epicenter of the U.S., quote unquote, the New World, if you will?
Yeah.
I mean, we're here, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, with the New World Order view, you know what I'm saying? The collective conscience view, we're all one. We're all one body of Christo, Christ, Christmas. Let's look out for our brothers and sisters, man. Let's go fishing. Let's fill up the boat.
Fill up the boat.
Fill it up.
We've definitely seen a lot of people tested this year, like harder than they have been in many years.
Absolutely, man.
Just with not just coronavirus, but just, people legally tested, people emotionally tested. We talked about a little bit earlier just the epidemics that we were facing before this pandemic, the issues that this country faced, these people, these communities faced prior to even COVID, and a lot of them were an opioid epidemic, which I'm sure you saw plenty of it firsthand, where you probably couldn't even imagine some of the things that you went through or saw, but it just seemed more commonplace. It happened to you. It didn't really feel like you were taking place, right? I mean, some people I've talked to that have been down on their luck and make bad decisions, they look back and say that was a bad decision. A lot of times they feel as if life is happening to them and they have no say in what's going on. Was there a point where you felt that life had just taken off without you behind? Was it kind of...
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that. And I think a lot of people in the recovery community call that a rock bottom. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that term. It's like you have to hit rock bottom, right? Mm-hmm. But unfortunately, rock bottom has trap doors and then basements. You know what I'm saying? And then when you hit rock bottom, there might actually be a lower level.
Yeah.
And if you're an addict like I am, I belong to a club. It's called the No Matter What Club, Diamond Squad. We'll keep it anonymous.
Okay.
But what I'm saying is this. Check this out. In recovery, we talk about those things that we will never do. Right? I would never do that. No, I would never sell my Christmas or steal my sister's Christmas presents and pawn them for drugs.
Yeah.
Weeks before Christmas. No, I would never prostitute myself. No, I would never do this. I would never rob an old lady or steal her purse. No, I would never steal from my family. But, usually as addicts, those we would never do end up coming true, dude. You know what I'm saying? So, those are rock bottoms. And, you hit levels of rock bottom where you feel so desperate and feel hopeless that there's nowhere to turn to. And, what I've found about that is, it's not hard to find God when that's all that you've got. You know what I'm saying? And it's not anybody else's perspective. This might be the idea of God, or, somebody else's idea of God might be what I'll take today. It's when that's all you have is you and God. And maybe a few things in a trash bag that you've managed to scuffle about. That's all your personal belongings. And you can tap out and you surrender. That's the lowest point. But luckily enough, we live in a recovery community where there's a lot of rehabilitation centers. There's a lot of good, right now the meetings have kind of been stripped back. But there's Alcoholics Anonymous. There's Narcotics Anonymous. There's Celebrate Recovery. There's SA for Sex Anonymous. There's all kinds of anonymouses, right? For people that have addictions and diseases. And there's rehabilitation programs here. There's Lighthouse Recovery. There's Owensboro Regional Recovery. There's RCD, Regional Chemical Dependency Program. There's Friends of Sinners. There's all these great outlets that we have in this community to help build people back up when they've hit that rock bottom. And unfortunately, we know in our recovery community that most of the time that you don't ever accept help until you surrender.
Yeah.
So a lot of these people at the river are still fighting. They're not really willing to surrender. They're not really willing to let go. They don't think that there's something better on the other side because this is all they know, right? So they're going to fight tooth and nail to all they know. They're at war. This is my life. I'm fighting tooth and nail for my life. When all they have to do is really just surrender and let go. And there's people there that are willing to come and rescue them and come save them and rebuild them and put them back together and show them a better life than they've ever known. But that takes a lot for a person to truly just say, I give up.
Yeah.
I surrendered. Come pick me up. Come show me a new way to live. Come show me how to live. And how many people are willing to do that after 20, 30, 40 years if this is all they know, right?
Not many.
Exactly. So that's the battle that we're dealing with right now.
Was the moment you lost your life that moment for you? Or
it wasn't, man. It really wasn't. When I lost my life, I started talking about these angels, right? But I was calling them aliens and trying to describe them to everybody. And they locked me up in a mental hospital. And they take me to Western State Hospital.
Can't say that shit.
Yeah, they're like, no, we don't talk about that. And you opened up a portal in your mind that most people won't ever understand. And you just need to hush up about that. We're not going to talk about that anymore. Do you agree to this? And I was like, no, I don't really agree. And they're like, all right, you're going to agree to not talk about this anymore, because if you don't, you're just going to stay here for the rest of your life. Do you understand what we're saying? And that really right there was that, like, and this is no joke. Like, they really put me in a room with a counseling group, you know what I'm saying, a few doctors, therapists, people that work for the United States federal government. And they're like, hey, man, you're not going to talk about this anymore. And if you do talk about it, we'll just lock your ass right back in
Who that
here.
worked for the federal government?
The whole state hospital system.
Okay. I thought you meant like an agent was in the room like, listen.
It wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah.
It really wouldn't surprise me.
So these angels, as you understand them now, that look like aliens, what do you feel like if you zoomed out and knowing what you know now, what do you feel like the big picture looks like? Do you think the Bible's got it 100% nailed? Do you feel like...
I think the Bible keeps it very simple for people that aren't willing to understand. And I'll repeat that one more time. I think the Bible keeps it very simple for people who are not willing to understand. I think that the most important words in the Bible are not written and read, as most people would assume. The words written and read are words of Jesus Christ himself. I think the most important words in the Bible are the words written between the lines. And the words written between the lines. That means whenever you open up the living word, it has a new interpretation to you and only to you. That will help you as a basic instruction before leaving earth. That means if you really dig deep into it and you open it up with the paradigm perspective that this is going to manifest itself into my life somehow. If it's talking about the story of Job, J-O-B, which is actually a person's job on this earth, not to sell out to fake money. Don't give in to the devil. Don't give in to temptations. Don't sell out to the world. Yes, you're going to be clowned on. Yes, you will be stripped of everything. Yes, you're going to lose your land. Yes, you're going to be spoiled. Yes, you're going to have poison in your body. But do not ever denounce God, and you will be rewarded in the end. How many people are really willing to take that as a job?
Few.
Yeah.
Few.
But that's what a job is, right? J-O-B. So there's a lot of people that call to be Christians, or they say they're Christians, but really they don't want to get radical with it, right? If you want to be a true Christian, it tells these very wealthy people to drop everything, sell all of your possessions, give to the poor, and follow me. Now, how many people do you know that are living as millionaires, including millionaire pastors today, right?
Yeah. New mega churches.
Well, I mean, look at the $40 million bailout that Joel Osteen just got for his super church for COVID. $40 million plus bailout, and we get $1,200. But it's supposed to be separation from church and state, but I'm not getting there. You know what I mean?
And he doesn't pay taxes.
Wait a minute.
So why would he get a
separation?
bailout? It's weird.
It's a separation
We
of
could
church
talk
and
about that
state.
for hours.
It's strange.
Separation of church and state, and you get $40 million bailout, and we get $1,200. Just doesn't add up to me. But we're going to keep
To
it
last
moving.
8 months.
We're going to keep it moving.
Yeah.
How many people are really willing to sell everything and give to the poor? You know what I
Not
mean?
the super rich. It's not. I've never see it. You never see it.
No, you wouldn't.
Very seldom you see people that, like, in their backgrounds in life, they really struggled. They came from the bottom and made real money. And sometimes those folks are willing to turn it all loose because they are not scared of being where they were before. Because they're like, look, I survived then. Look at me surviving now. I'm willing to give away everything that I've generated
Isn't that
because
powerful?
it's nothing to me.
It's not. It
Because
doesn't mean anything.
everything I need is already here. All this stuff came from me being myself.
That was prolific, dude.
Yeah, I mean, when hearing stuff like that in stories, I mean, you'll see it a lot with professional athletes who their only shot in life. Some of these guys' only shot in life is for them to play that game as hard as they can and succeed. And if they succeed, there is a just 1 in 100,000 chance that they're going to end up making millions of dollars, and they could elevate themselves out of the catastrophic poverty that they find themselves in. This is not always the case. Sometimes those people come from very wealthy families, but there are many cases of people that come from that very, very bottom sector of economic poverty and somehow make their way to the top, and they feel that sentiment that you just expressed, whether it be a religious sentiment that they got from the Bible or something that they learned from being around so many people that have struggled or so many people that have experienced the things that they have experienced, that they can let go of those things because they understand that what keeps them alive and what keeps them going is not necessarily the money. They were never after the money. They were always after something else that was intangible. And I think we don't see, and like you said, we don't see enough of that. Like, you don't see Jeff Bezos just, I want to be rid of this. You don't see the super millionaires saying that, super billionaires saying that. I mean, they do give back, but it's always it's always for an incentive, right? They get some sort of
Tax
tax
write-off.
write-off.
There we
Yeah,
go.
yeah, we
Now
can talk
we-
about this for hours,
now
but
we're getting
anyways.
somewhere. So you guys
Right.
definitely are seeing under the same perspective that I'm seeing.
Yeah,
So,
we
like,
definitely see it the way you do.
It's like 2021, so this is my call. Like, so God's blessed me with a whole lot of nest eggs. Like, I've written a buku of songs. I've got a few books written.
You guys were talking about you in the chat. Said you better belt something out here.
Who's that? Who's calling me?
Let me see. It was Shane Gilmore said, "Very true. Casey can sing like no other." And sorry, this is hard to view on my phone. And then Heath Riddle even said, "Tell Casey to sing y'all a little something, something." Heath Riddle was in here not too long ago.
That's what's
so-
up. Yeah, Heath raps, man. I mean, I write a lot of rap too, but like I've been mainly focusing on country music. But that's like the fastest growing music there is in the world, and it reaches the broadest
It's
perspective.
re-exploding
right?
again.
It
Yeah.
is, and like, like believe it or not, like I wrote this one song, right? It's called "Do Y'all Remember?" It's like country music now just ain't. I'm gonna say it one more time. Country music today is just a bunch of ain't. It ain't country.
Yeah. Well, not what's on the radio anyway.
Country ain't country no more. And I say that ain't because that's what gets people's attention. Y'all and ain't. If you think you're country and you say y'all, then you're country, right?
What,
No.
what's
If you say ain't, you're country, right? No. Nope.
what's your opinion? Like, what is to you a more better representation of what country music is? Being a songwriter
You
yourself.
want me to sing the hook on this? Like,
Yeah.
all right, here's like a hook on this song that I've been working on. It goes,
All right, go ahead.
Play me some Conway, Twitty, George Jones, or George Strait, a little Wayland, Willie, or all three Hanks. Now that's just some old country right there.
Right, there you go.
But
The
that's a
Mount
song-
Rushmore of country.
pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
And like that's the one song that I wrote. But it's funny. Like I started the song out talking. And this one's called "Do Y'all Remember?" And it's the legends of country because in Nashville, Tennessee, right off of Broadway, there's this huge wall, and it's called Legends Corner, and it has all the legends of country
Yeah.
music painted on one wall. And that bar is called Legends Corner. So if you are anybody who's anybody in country music, you've played at that bar, got your start playing at that bar on Broadway. And so I wrote this song with all the Legends Corner artists in this one song, and it'll be coming out in 2021.
Oh yeah.
Do y'all remember? Y'all got a little sneak preview of it.
Oh yeah.
Hell yeah, man.
And like when I was down in Nashville, I was shooting a promo, and I went down in front of Bridgestone, and I smashed the guitar. It says "Welcome to Smashville." So I walked down, and I was like, "I'm in Nashville, Tennessee. Welcome to Smashville. Go ahead and just catfish up the ice, because if you get a hat trick down in Nashville, they throw catfish on the ice. So it
Okay.
goes. It's like catfish up the ice. Your boys in Nashville. Welcome to Smashville. And I smashed the guitar down there as a promo for the "Do Y'all Remember?" So it's coming out 2021. But yeah, I've got a lot of songs written. And believe it or not, like a lot of these guys are talking about like, oh, have them play some. I've reached out to a lot of these guys and tried to hook up and network with them, but nobody wanted any. And,
Well, musicians in general are notoriously non-punctual and cancely, and
I'm calling out all the musicians in Owensboro for all the people that slept on me, man. Don't forget, I did send a
hey,
handout.
y'all
I put
hearing
a
it now.
handout. I put a handout numerous times. Put you on the
Tell 'em
line
right
like,
there.
hey, feed me, feed me, feed me. Call me, call me. I've got something for you. 2021, it's all coming. I put a post the other day. It said for all the people that I've asked for help that diss me, if you will, you're no longer a part of the plan. But we still love you. We still love you. It's coming, though. Be ready, guys. And I say that in a competitive way because I want my city to shine with the best music. I know I'm bringing it. I see low class lingos. They're bringing it.
Absolutely.
I see a couple other people in 2021, Big Vision. Bring
Josh
it.
Merritt.
Josh Merritt's got some good tunes. Man,
Just
believe it or
dropped
not,
an album out
I
there,
need to
Rental
meet up with
Station.
Josh Merritt, man. I've got a lot of songs I think that he could work with.
Absolutely.
I write a lot of good stuff. Like, I'll sing one more for you guys. It goes, and well, my blood runs Dixie blue, my grassroots stew too. Hell, I'm red, white, and truly American. I got foreign blood in my kin who work side by side with the Mexicans. When mama's dinner bell rings, boys, come on in, 'cause you know we're eating good. Soybeans, back of fields and backwoods. Now that's a good one right there.
There
for
you
you.
go.
Yeah, I dig it.
Old
Yeah.
country singing.
That's some Aaron Lewis style shit.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
what I write, outlaw country, man.
There you
It's
go.
coming. I've got a great guitar player named Tristan Howard. He's
Oh,
up in-
Tristan Howard.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Tristan
there you
Howard.
go,
Man,
man.
he's,
he
he's-
can play.
Man, the kid has some
The
skills.
kid,
dude.
yeah, can play.
The kid has some skills. Tristan
Yeah,
Howard is the
yeah.
one. Dude.
Shout out, we'll have to get him on here.
But he's on the
sometime.
team, man, for 2021. I've got a lot of big vision.
I know you hate that.
Dropping bullets.
Yeah.
He's dropping.
It's funny you're dropping bullets because I just wrote this rap song too, man. It's "What's the Sound of a Bullet Never Shot," and that's coming out. But it's actually "What's the Sound of a Bullet Never Fired." Sounds like Tupac Mansions in Thug Life Empire, and it's talking about Tupac Shakur, man. So you look at Trump Towers, you look at Trump Mansion, he got his start, right? Well, I think Tupac got his start too, but he deviated away from God's plan. He started getting into this buck the world instead of showing love. But imagine what is the sound of a shot never fired, right? So you're dropping that bullet right there. On my album case, it's a 45 shell, and it has the foam from a speaker, right? And I put it in the end of the shell, so it's a bullet, looks like a bullet speaker, but it has a foam.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So what is the sound of a shot never fired? That's coming out 2021 too. Like I tell you, I write rap, I write rock, I write country.
Tell them about the trifecta you're working on.
The vision for 2021 for me is like a lot of people are putting their albums out or like putting one song out at a time, 2 songs at a time, and they're coming up with some pretty good videos. Like ideally, Kasey Kelly's view is this: he's going to drop 3 albums all on the same day. Each album will have 11 tracks, so it's 33 songs getting dropped, 33 songs in one day. And I'm going to try to do it under 3 different names. So, like, I'll have a rap name. I'll have a country name.
What are you thinking for your rap name?
I've got a few ideas. White Lion, that's it.
White Lion?
Yeah, the Lion of Judah. White Lion. That's who I am. I am the White Lion.
I thought you were going to go with, like, DJ Kasey or
No,
something.
I get a lot of different rap names, like Consequential. I like that one because
Ooh, that's kind of cool.
like,
Yeah.
every choice we make will remain consequential in a positive or a negative light. You know what I mean? I have a few.
You can make the S a dollar sign?
Yeah, good. But that's funny you said that because like probably my Christian rap name would be False Prophet, and it would be FALSE and then PROFIT, the false prophet, not PHET. More or less
like
meaning that if you're working your life for money, you're a false prophet, and that if your main riches is in money, like silver and gold, you're a false prophet. You know what I mean? That's a true prophecy. So I mean, that's my Christian rap name, False Prophet. So I'll be looking for that 2021. I have a Christian rap song I've already let go. And funny, believe it or not, like I know a lot of people know about WAP WAP.
Yeah.
You know about WAP?
Yeah.
So like WAP was let go, and it's pretty nasty. If you don't know what WAP is, I'm not going to get into it. But
Wet ass pussy.
There you go.
Jake can't help himself,
Check
but
this out.
I get into it regularly.
2 years before WAP came out, Wet Ass Pussy came out, I wrote one that's called Walking Answered Prayer. WAP. So I released this
the
song.
exact opposite.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And you can check that out on SoundCloud. It's One Take Jimmy, Nova D doing Fulkerson. He recorded it. It's called One Take Jimmy because I did it on one track. I got out of Friends of Sinners. I had an anointing on me, and I laid this one track going in like one go. And it's the only Christian rap song that I've ever recorded up to date. And I think it's a #1 hit. Actually, I know it is. Just the right network and the right promotion, it'll get out. But I can't wait to drop a video for that one.
Hell yeah.
But,
Absolutely.
like, just a lot of good stuff. Like, what else you guys want to know, man? Because I'm getting off topic.
Well,
there's no such thing as off topic. I was about to hit something too, Chase. So, you want to do giveaway possibly?
Yeah, so we're about an hour in, guys. So if you guys were in at the beginning of the podcast, you heard that our sponsor this evening was Bluegrass Outfitters. They have all your apparel needs. If you head over to www.bluegrassoutfitters.shop, you can check out all their gear there. Speaking of gear, we do have some gear to give away. And the way that we're actually going to do this giveaway, we're going to do one right now, and then we're going to do another one at the end of the show, too. So you're going to want to stick in the stream for now if you don't win, because you have a chance to win at the end of the podcast as well. And in order to win, let me get this up here. First one
to comment WAP in the chat right now. We'll get this badass Kentucky Outfitters shirt.
Nice. That's a nice T-shirt.
Yes, sir. And I will get this delivered to you tomorrow if you're available. So first one to comment WAP in the chat, guys. While we're waiting for that, if you were liking what you were hearing right now, please drop us a like on Facebook, like our Facebook page, so you can stay up to date on what we're doing.
Shout out to Colton Driggers. You said it
Colton
first.
Driggers, absolutely. Congratulations, man.
Appreciate the support. This will go great for you. A long sleeve T-shirt. Got a nice look at that. Look at that bad boy on the back there. You're going to love that too, Colton. I know you will.
Message our podcast page or message me or Chase directly, and I'll get with you after the show so we can get you that badass shirt, man.
All right.
Shout out to Bluegrass Outfitters for providing this giveaway for you guys. We appreciate all their support. Also, guys, if you're liking what you're hearing right now, we do have our Stars program active on Facebook. hit that stars button at the bottom right next to the comment box and throw some stars our way so we can keep you guys some good content coming. Other than that,
Speaking on stars, we're gonna get y'all some stars real quick. So if y'all don't know, probably the Owensboro art. Rex Robinson's a really good friend of mine.
Oh,
right?
yeah,
So he used to be an art teacher at Owensboro Public Schools, and people have been sleeping on Rex Robinson for a little bit. He used to be the guy that did the Owensboro Christmas cards, and he's painted a couple murals around town, and he kind of lost his spark. But I knew I was coming on here, right, guys? I knew I was coming on this podcast, and I was like, okay, what can I bring to this podcast? How can I light these boys up? So I started asking everybody. I was handing out pieces of paper. I was like, what's your very favorite Christmas moment? What's your very favorite Christmas moment?
Okay.
I'm going to shout you out on this podcast. And I started having 20, 30, 40 people start writing their very favorite Christmas present or moment.
Yeah.
And I'll talk about those before I get off. And then I had a pretty sentimental moment happen the other day. Like my mother was battling cancer this year, and my sister just got over it. So it's been a pretty climactic year of, cancer and health scares in my life. Mm-hmm. And I was able to spend time with my mother and my sister, and they were both in good spirits and good health for Christmas. And I had my niece there, my son was there, and we had a great
amazing,
Christmas.
man.
Oh, it was a beautiful moment, and I shared it on a live feed, and I got pretty emotional about it. And that was a very great Christmas present. But I'm going to share something with you guys. I'm a part of this group. It's called War Daddy 50. All right.
War Daddy 50?
War Daddy 50.
Okay.
And War Daddy 50.
That should be your rap name.
War Daddy 50 has more of a symbolism than any rap for me. War Daddy 50, it's in memory. I have a really close friend. His name is Kevin Jones, and his son played on Owensboro High School's football team on the state runner-up runner-up team at OHS, and his name was Noah Jones. Mm-hmm. Noah Jones wore the number 50 on that team. And unfortunately, this year in July, Noah Jones passed away to a drug overdose. Mm-hmm. He was 24 years old, and it was a tragedy. So out of this tragedy, we tried to figure out as a collective whole, a team, Kevin's family, Noah's closest friends, people in the community that wanted to rally around this effort. So we came up with what is called the War Daddy 50 movement. Okay. It's anybody that's lost a child to crime, anybody lost a child to a drug overdose, anybody going through some just really bad times. And it's a group or collaborative effort of people coming together in a positive movement and trying to take tragedies and making them into great things. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And War Daddy 50 just had a new addition added to it. I was just talking about the local artist, Rex Robinson. Kevin Jones took some of the ashes of his son after he'd been cremated and took them to Rex Robinson and requested that he paint a mural or a painting.
Really?
Made a painting of his son and put little parts of his life in there on this painting, so that's a way that he could be
that's incredible.
The memory of him. So that is going to get let go. I just went and saw it today with Kevin, and it was a very emotional time. This painting is beautiful. It has the ashes of his son in it. It is a mural of his son. Wow. It has the numbers of his co-captains on the football team at the state championship game. They're in there. It has just different parts of his life added into this one painting. And that, honestly, is probably the best Christmas present that I've ever been a part of up to this moment in my life. And Rex Robinson is a great artist. He told this man with tears in his eyes, he said, this is the hardest painting I've ever had to do, ever. And Rex has done thousands of paintings.
Yeah.
He said, this is the most difficult and hardest painting that I've ever had to do. And Kevin trusted him, and he trusted in me. He said, I'd like to get a painting done for my son. I said, well, how about you put some of the ashes in it, and we'll get a hold of Rex Robinson, the best artist that I know.
Yeah.
And he's been painting on this all month. He got it done, and I can't wait for you guys to see the pictures of it. And hopefully what this will do is give people an opportunity.
Where's it located?
Actually, the painting is going to be now in possession of Kevin Jones, who just picked it up this afternoon.
Oh, okay. So it's on canvas or something?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
I thought you meant it was a mural, like on a building.
Oh, no.
Okay.
And this might happen. There might be murals soon to come. But what we're doing is we're giving people the opportunity. Okay, a lot of people, when they pass away, they get cremated, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, what we're trying to do is provide an outlet or an opportunity for people who have cremated ashes of their loved ones to have a professional artist paint a painting with those ashes in a painting so that they can be remembered in a positive way instead of just in an iron.
That's very cool.
So I never thought about that.
That's very cool.
The very first one that has ever been done in this area was just produced and let go today. Kevin Jones got it for his son, Noah Jones, in memory of Noah Jones, War Daddy 50. Mm-hmm. Shout out Rex Robinson at the Art Gala. He's on the 5th and Locust. Mm-hmm. He does beautiful work. If you have not gone out and checked local art, This man works miracles with the brush. I'm telling you what, go check him out.
That's crazy.
Actually, I have a cord. You guys can have one.
Heck yeah, man.
Yeah, love it. We'll put it up here on
But
the
yeah, man, and if anybody is interested in having that done, please give him, me, or anyone a call, because it's definitely an outlook that I would like to provide you guys with.
Yeah, I went to school with plenty of kids who learned art from Rex. So
That is just to read this card off. It's 425 West 5th Street here in Owensboro, and contact center at rexartcenter1@gmail.com.
Yeah.
Yep.
And he does the work. I'll tell you what.
Yeah, that's a really cool idea.
He has a very unique mind. He
Yeah.
sees things in
He
a way
does
that
see
most
things
people.
that most people don't see.
Yeah, so
I want to be putting a firework.
he could definitely do it.
That's
a good
what I
idea,
want.
man.
That's
I
what
don't
I
know if he
want
could do that, but so
That's
it
what
could
I
definitely
want.
be done.
Yeah, I'm torn. I've always I want to be. Have you ever seen those like biopods?
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
like
grow
where
into a
you,
tree.
yeah, you grow into a
That's
tree.
beautiful,
I
isn't
want
it?
that, but it's probably not feasible. I don't want to be put into a coffin like at all. I'd rather be put in just a hole in the ground, which there's
Yeah.
not a whole lot of natural cemeteries. There's only like a few in the country.
Yeah.
So I either want just a natural barrier where like I'd just be put in the ground, which is preferable, turned into a tree, which second option, or firework, third option.
Okay.
So that's my
Well, you
my
have
top.
the option to get put into a painting as well. So
Yeah.
just remember
Yeah.
that is on the list.
That's true too. That's a very unique way to, like you said, keep in memory people that we've lost in different ways. And then if if it's something that's supported by the community, it could become a straight up mural. It just
I would
depending
love
on
that
what
for
it
a
is.
loved one, man.
Yeah. I mean that.
Absolutely.
That'd be great.
And knowing that there's guys like that in this community that are willing to take on such a sentimental project like that, and knowing that you could completely screw it up, no matter as good as
absolutely.
you are, taking something like that into your hands, you almost feel like, oh man, you're under so much pressure, and props to Rex for at least being able to do that, because I'm sure his father can't even put that into words. I mean, being
I
able
could
to
try, but if somebody would be very disappointed.
yeah, I mean that.
Well, I'll tell you what. I knew that I was pointing Kevin in the right direction when we sat down and discussed the idea and proposed the idea with Rex. And I'll tell you what, guys. The very first thing Rex wanted to do was pray about it, and he wanted to keep it Christ-centered, and he wanted to keep the very foremost, most important thing important, and that was God's direction and vision. And it was very difficult for him in these last 24 hours, finalizing the final painting, because it was a 3-step process. He was sending me text messages. He was like, does this look okay? Is this too much? Is this too much? And I didn't want to tell him one way or the other, because I knew God had it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I just said, it looks great, Rex. I'll see it when I see it. And I just put it in God's trust and God's vision, man. And Rex did wonderfully. And I can't wait for you all to see pictures of it. Actually, tomorrow for the unveiling for the family, I'm going to get some videos of it. So I'd love for you guys to link up and see what kind of artwork I'm talking about.
Absolutely.
But it's beautiful, man. It's so gorgeous. And just to know that a piece that beautiful, that intricate can come out of Owensboro, Kentucky, man, and that idea can come out of Owensboro, it just gives me hope, you know what I mean, for the future. It lets me know that this city is on fire with the love of the Lord, and that, like you guys are saying, man, just so we can trust people and actually put that much trust in an individual to really captivate what we want in a picture. You know what I'm saying? And just to know that we have a source that we can trust, and he's right here, centrally located. He's a very nice guy, and he's not a hard guy to get along with.
Yeah.
So
That's really cool, man.
yeah, dude.
So I want to get back to. So obviously you're very religious oriented.
I'm spiritually oriented.
When did that take place?
I mean, I went to school, Catholic schools. I grew up going to church. I've been baptized 3 different times. I think that religious gets a bad connotation. Check this out. Religious people don't want to go to hell. Spiritual people have been to hell and don't want to go back. So, I'm a spiritual person. I wouldn't say that I'm a religious person. I feel like religious indoctrination eliminates the totality of a one body, one Christo. I think it eliminates through denomination. I think through denomination, there's a lot of domination. My idea is greater than your idea, or my perspective.
That's definitely the case.
My perspective dominates your perspective, when in reality, if you look at indoctrinated Christianity today, most of it is understood with the theologian aspect of a Calvinistic idea or a Lutheranistic idea.
Yeah.
So we're getting jaded opinions on how we're supposed to concord what we're taking out of this living word, right? Yeah. Based on the ideology of men that lived hundreds of years ago. And if you don't have the same perspective or opinion or viewpoint as they do, then you're perceived as being radically incorrect. So that's what I feel like is the problem with modern day religion, especially in the aspect that it's been monetized and is being capitalized in a way to market and make money.
Yeah.
But if you really want to break down religion, I think that if you're going to put religion together, it should be all inclusive, which means that all texts should be brought back. All the ones that have been suppressed should be brought back. Any writing that had any kind of substance to it should be acknowledged, because I feel like if we live in a country that provides freedom and free will, then it should also provide truth. And truth means that it's all encompassed. That means that you don't give somebody the opportunity to read this or not read that and tell them it's the whole truth.
Right.
And I think that's what the issue is with today's text, that more or less people are reading versions of what they consider to be the whole truth when the whole truth isn't even given.
The truth is often subjective, especially when it comes to literature. So
Now, I do believe if we keep it simple and keep it to the gospel, like I believe that, I'll just keep it like this, like Yahweh, I am that I am. I believe that God lives in me, and I believe that God lives in you. And a lot of people don't like that aspect, because if God lives inside of you, then you don't need a mediator to talk to God. If you can acknowledge that God is inside of you, He's in your heart, He's in your collective conscience, those thoughts, those deep gut instincts inside of you that nobody gives to you other than what you've been given, you know,
Right.
that's your God conscience.
the whole go with your gut.
There's your God conscience. Now, nobody can take that away from you, but if you're taught your whole life that you can only talk to God if you go talk to the preacher, or if you're taught your whole life that you can only contact God if you go confess your sins to this man, or if you're taught your whole life that the only way you can talk to God is if you put some money in a basket, it kind of depletes the whole situation, doesn't it? It kind of like,
Yeah, completely.
there you go.
Yeah, because it takes away that the fact that you are your own entity.
There you go.
You have that Christ-like energy in you, rather than you have to pay a subscription to get Christ
Oh, now
at
we're
this
getting
church.
somewhere, right?
Yeah. That was one of the big things about why there's so many different denominations
go.
now, is they pulled away from a lot of these traditional ideas, where it was every Sunday, every Wednesday we go here, we give our donation, we get the Lord from these people, and it's easy to fall into that cycle, because it's easier to defer something that important to just somebody else.
There you go.
You don't want to sit at home and think about like, oh, I could be better than I am and I'm not, and it's his fault. And if you believe, like what you're saying, if you believe that energy is within you, that you are, you have that personal embodiment of God in you, then you can't say that it's his fault, because you're just as much of a God as he is, where you can manifest reality as much as the person next to you.
And I think that's what Jesus taught us in the way. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I don't think that Jesus,
difficult.
and this is going to probably ruffle a lot of feathers.
Fuck them.
I'm not going to say fuck them, because I'm going to try to be respectful in this Christmas season. I have said
I'll
fuck
say
them.
fuck 'em.
I have said in the
He will,
past.
everybody
But like, check
knows
this
Jacob.
out. Like, okay, it's like Jesus says, I am the way. Okay, and he doesn't say I am a Christian. He never teaches principalities of Christianity. He didn't. So Christianity was actually derived hundreds of years after the death of what some would call Yeshua. You know what I mean? And I think that he demonstrated the way. I think that personally he demonstrated the way to love. He demonstrated the way to enlightenment. Now, a lot of people don't like the idea of enlightenment. Oh, now you're talking about devil talk. Enlightenment? Oh, wait a minute. The angel of light. See, a lot of people don't like light, especially the ones living in darkness. But I do believe wholeheartedly that we all, with some perseverance, some meditation, some practice, can receive personal enlightenment. And it's through yoga. It's through what is called the practice of Kundalini, which is the alignment of your chakras. That
I've heard a lot
we
about
have chakras in our body, and once they are in tune and aligned and vibrating at the correct frequency and harmony, then you can, what some people like to call, blast off. And that is what I like to call spiritual enlightenment. It's a path to enlightenment, and it's called the Kundalini. There's 33 vertebrae that run up your back, similar to a snake, a serpentine. So in reality, we are the snake walking around, because our spinal cord is the snake. So thank you, snake.
I love
Appreciate
that.
it.
And I know you said you're spiritual, not religious, and I love that you take all these different aspects, and you kind of like combine them all together, and you keep saying, I love that you say, from my perspective, or the way I see it, or my truth is.
Because I can't speak for anyone else.
I know,
other than
and
myself.
and
I
I
can't
love
say
that.
you're
It's,
supposed to think this way. This is what I
yeah,
think.
it's extremely
And what
refreshing.
I believe is my reality. You see,
Yeah.
and this is what I realized. Like this is where true freedom comes in. Like all right, like so many times in my life, I was doing things for kudos and accolades. You know what kudos and accolades are?
Other
Like,
people.
So
For
like
other
that,
people.
a boy, like hell
Props.
yeah, dude's
Yeah.
doing a good job. Like oh man, we see him. He's wearing the right shoes today, or what color T-shirt is he wearing today? He's on my team. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
Right.
my whole life, I've been doing this shit for other people, right? And it was never good enough. Like it didn't matter. Like, and I've been doing it since I was like a small child with sports, and like music, and like singing in choir, and like I was always doing it for everybody else other than me and God. You know what I mean? Like, because if I'm doing it for me, I'm doing it for God. Wait a minute, that's deep. I got to say it one more time. Because if I'm doing it for me, I'm doing it for God, right? And like my whole life, I've been trying to do stuff for other people. Like, how can I make my parents happy? Or, will my dad like it if I do this?
Yeah.
Or my friends approve? You know what I'm saying? Or what kind of car do I need to drive
Right.
so I can get more pussy? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or like, and this is where we're getting real, right? Like, oh my God, did you
A
just
Chevy
say that?
to answer that question.
A Chevy, right? Okay, cool. He knows.
Get you a
right?
Silverado.
Yeah, all right, cool. Man.
Never
He
let
already-
you down.
He knows. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and there's our society is reinforcing that idea that you need to care more about what other people think of you than you care of yourself. It is kind of gross in a lot of ways because we see this generation of people that are completely engulfed by social media giving them all the feedback that they need. And it takes away that very essence of what you spoke of, relying on what's inside of you to generate the destiny, if you will, to get kind of a little spiritual here myself, to generate that destiny for yourself rather than relying on that the other gods around you, quote unquote, for people that are listening, around you to create that destiny for you. Because if you wait on that, it'll never happen. I've seen so many people that just wasted opportunities because they wanted that thing from somebody else to be put upon them rather than them go and take it.
Right.
And I saw a Facebook post earlier this week that said, I think it was Stephen Clark. Shout out to Stephen Clark. I haven't talked to him in a while. He said, is it better to be overconfident or underconfident? And you notice that those people that are very underconfident will rely on that outsource of appreciation, of gratification. They will look
To let them know that they're good enough.
to let them know that they're doing God's way, that they're doing the right way in their own mind.
I got a question for you guys. I'm not cutting you off. Like, all right,
No, you're
check this
fine.
out. A good friend of mine, Julius Maddox, he's going for 800 pounds on a bench press.
Crazy man.
I did that
800
last
pounds.
year,
He's a bear.
but
I know
yeah.
you did it last year. Other people did it 2 years ago.
Yeah.
But this
Shout out
dude's,
to Julius.
this
That's
dude's
impressive,
going
man.
to do it. Julius Maddox is going to attempt 800 pounds at Wrigley Field, okay? And it's going to be a sellout ballpark, Chicago, Illinois, Wrigley Field. It's going to be a great platform. So you're talking about confidence, right? So check this out. So my buddy Julius goes in. He knows he can lift more weight than anybody in the entire world has ever thought about. But if he doesn't go into the stadium with confidence, knowing that he's got it, do you think he's going to get it?
No.
I don't think so either, right?
No.
So the people that are haters are the ones that want to strip you of your confidence. The people that are haters are crabs in a bucket, right? And I say crabs in a bucket because I learned this, okay, when I was, I lived homeless at St. Benedict's Homeless Shelter, right? And this guy named Diedrich Jackson and his wife is a doctor, Miss Jackson. She was the guest speaker when I got the opportunity to be a speaker too and talk about how St. Benedict's has saved my life. And it was for this Beds for Hope, right? So there's people sponsoring beds to allow people that are homeless in our community to have a bed to sleep in and a meal to eat, right? And I heard this lady talk about crabs in a bucket. And a crab fisherman never needs a lid on their buckets. Why? Because when you throw crabs in a bucket, as one crab begins to climb out the bucket, the crabs underneath them will immediately grab a hold of them and pull them down. Because if they can't get out, he can't either. So a crab fisherman never needs a lid for his buckets, right? Because there's a whole bunch of crabs in the bucket. Now, how many people in our community are your friends, quote unquote friends, fake friends, associates,
Right.
competitors, people that you compete with on a daily? Don't know why you compete, but we do. It's human nature.
Right.
Are crabs in a bucket, dude. Like, think about it. And so I was telling you guys earlier, like, you know, I was engraving tombstones earlier this year, right? It takes 6 to 8 people to lift a person up as pallbearers carrying a dead person out, right? Think Think about it in this life if we had 6 or 8 people lifting us up while we're still alive.
Yeah.
Bam, mic drop, right? So that's what Christmas should be about, like lifting people up. Like it takes 6 to 8 people to carry us out on our deathbed in a coffin, right? To go get put in a hole in the ground. And people will stand in line to be pallbearers. Like, or think about how many hundreds of people will come drop flowers at a funeral, right? But how many hundreds of people will count on you or call on you or even check on you during the day when you're still alive?
How many thousands of people
They
make a
don't.
Facebook post about it?
Yeah, oh my God, rest in peace, my loved friend. Dude, you haven't talked to him in 10 years and you didn't even worry about him when they reached out. How many times did they call you and you wouldn't even give them the time of day?
Where were you when they were trying to reach the
Crabs
dream?
in a bucket, bro. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And I don't say it to be negative, but like I'm very aware of the crabs in a bucket in my life. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, but the thing about it is,
And a lot
like,
of times we're blind to it.
I'm not blind to it.
Yeah.
Like I definitely see it. But the thing about it is, like, I think that's what being a true Christian is about too, right? It's like a dead battery can't charge a dead battery, right? But once you've been lit up, like once you have the Holy Spirit living in you, you know how to recharge all the time. So as people drain you, right, they take away your energy. They call them vampires, energy vampires. You call them what you want. People that just suck the positivity right out of you, right? A lot of people don't know how to channel back into charge back up. Luckily enough, I've been shown how to charge back up. So with that being said, do I share my light or do I hold it all to myself? See, I can keep my light and I can be the bearer of light. Some might call him the devil, you know, Lucifer, the bearer of light. Don't share your light, you'll win. Everything will be for you. You'll serve yourself. You'll get everything in the world you want.
But you won't be filling your boat.
Or you can share the light and be drained, consistently drained by people who really don't honestly care about you, but you care about them out of love. And you're fishing and you're planting good seeds and you know how to tap back in and recharge. Now, that's why I feel like you have to die to yourself every day. It's like knowing that, okay, I can serve myself and win in this rat race people call life. And I can monetarily gain, and I can monetarily achieve, and I can reach levels never imagined if I bear all my light to myself, or I continuously share my light to help other people in hopes that we fill the boat up. Big gamble, right? Welcome to my world.
Man, I've said it many times, as Chase knows, like these are often my favorite kind of podcasts and discussions because I am very much in the I don't know category when it comes to just religion in general. I feel like oftentimes religion acts as a sort of like moral code of this is what you should do, this is what you shouldn't do, and I find that it's very easy to see why people turn to religion in times of distress, like addiction or loss or things like that. And like I said, I had a good friend kill himself, and when I lost my mom, she was very young, and it's easy in those times to be like, okay, yes, this is why people believe in religion. This is why people say there's a heaven, because I don't want to think of my mom as just in the ground. She's got to be in a better place, right? But then I come back to reality and think to myself, okay, now that grieving it takes its toll, right? It makes your mind wander. It makes you look for a logical conclusion, even though there isn't one. There's no fair way to have your mom die when you're 17. There's no fair way to go about that. There's no fair way to have your friend kill himself. Yeah. There's no way that your brain is able to process that. So logically speaking, looking back on everything, I understand why that's the case. And that's why I love when, as Kasey said many times, is the way I see it, or my truth is, or my perspective on this. And you bring in elements from not only Christianity, but you've brought in Buddhism, you've brought in a ton of chakras, you've brought in yoga, you've brought in all these things. And I think it's imperative to not only see Christianity and see the good examples it can set and see the positive it can bring in people's lives, because I think it's extremely important, but also bringing in things that are rooted in not just, how do I say it? Not just like, I don't know.
It's something that is material in your life,
right?
When you go to a yoga class or you're training for a Kundalini session, you know that's something physical that you can do and see progress towards.
Yeah.
You don't really
not just not just, well, I go to church every Sunday, so I'm a good person. But you see it, you're walking through the parking lot and an old woman needs help pushing her cart back to the stall, and you don't think twice. You don't say, oh, well, I prayed today, so she can push it herself.
Some people are straight up like that. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So that, like, everyone is a hypocrite in some form.
Right.
There's no way.
I got a question for you guys. Come sitting there and being really quiet. And, and I appreciate you confiding in me and sharing with me. So you lost your mother at 17 years old. So obviously that was very traumatic in your life. So, so I've been listening to you guys go on back and forth. I've been sitting there trying to channel in. And that's what I do spiritually. I'll try to channel into an energy where I can connect and play almost the role of medium. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people don't understand what I'm getting at. But like, okay, when you were talking about heaven, right? I personally believe heaven is on earth. And it says in Revelation, actually in the end of Revelation, that God will come to earth and he will walk on earth with his people and heaven will be brought to earth. Now, this is where we get really deep. I want you to know that your mother is with you always. This could be a hard concept. I'm not stepping on for any boundaries whatsoever. I'm trying to be 100% respectful.
You're fine. You're fine.
I believe that she has contacted you, and I'm not stepping on any boundaries. I think she has spiritually through birds. I think she has through butterflies. Mm-hmm. I think that your mother has contacted you through nature. I almost guarantee she has. And if you have an open eye, or an open heart to realize that we're all one, meaning that I am you and you are me, and I am you and you are me, and we are the grass, we're the running water, we're the sun, we're everything, that we can in tune connect to the heaven on earth. Now, a lot of people call it reincarnation. A lot of people call it multiple lives. I believe in the great eternal spirit. And I believe that every day that people are born and every day people die.
Yeah.
But the earth never loses or gains an ounce.
Right. I'm not arrogant enough to think that I am living multiple lives. I'm not arrogant enough to think that I am deserving of continuously being put back into a body. But we do know for a fact that energy cannot be created or destroyed.
Nor destroyed. Thank you.
So that's why I strive, like I said earlier, for a natural burial or to be rooted for a tree or something, because my energy is going to go somewhere.
Absolutely.
I don't want it to be in a coffin where the animals can't feed on it. I am very much in tune with, I'm a hunter. I enjoy hunting. I enjoy feeding on animals that I have harvested myself, that I know have lived a great life in the wild. And when I die, my wish is that those animals can, in turn, feed on me.
So you're free.
I guess.
That's everlasting life.
Well, that's...
You live through them, right?
No, I live for me.
No, you live through them. When you die, you said they can devour you, and you live through them, right?
Yeah, I guess.
There you go.
See, I'm very selfish. I could blame it on a lot of things, but that's the reason I don't identify with a lot of religions, is because, I know some of my buddies subscribe to some, what I consider outlandish ideologies, like, not having sex before marriage, or, you're going to go to hell if you masturbate, or some shit like that, that I personally just think is bullshit. So in that way, I'm very selfish as far as I'm going to do the things that make me happy, but I'm also going to be a good person, or what I would consider to be a good person. If I ran into me, I would want to be like, he's a cool guy.
I got you. That's good, man.
But
so you want to plant good seeds. So you're saying is treat your neighbor as you want to be treated, show love and light.
Right.
All right,
so,
cool.
and I don't think, like I said, I don't think the person sitting in a pew on Sunday is any better than anyone else just because of that. That's the hard thing for a lot of people.
The church is supposed to be a sanctuary for sinners.
Yeah. That's the hard thing for a lot of people who are religious to subscribe to, especially because I've like I said, I've got some friends that, one in particular, that masturbation is just the worst thing. And then he still says, well, occasionally. Like, okay. Yeah. So are we gonna just say, I believe in this religion, this is what I subscribe to, but I don't believe in this part. Yeah. Why do we have to accept it as a whole? Mm-hmm. I believe it's important to embrace each other as a whole. I would never try to change you or expect you guys to try to change me. If I want to be around you, it's because I want to be around all of you, not just the parts of Chase I like or the parts of Kasey that I like.
I got you.
But when it comes to an ideology in particular, it's hard for me to say you have to drink this entire glass or none of it.
Yeah.
So that's why, and I guess that's the best way I can kind of encapsulate why I subscribe so much to what you're saying, is because you're not saying, here's a glass of what of this religion, drink it or don't touch it. You're saying, align your chakras, do yoga, fill your boat. Like you're covering the bases of what you see as the truth, and you're trying to make not only yourself a better person, but reach out to those around you and change for the positive, which is all anyone could expect and all anyone could hope to do.
Mm-hmm.
They say a truly enlightened person will plant seeds to shade trees he will never sit beneath. I'm going to say it one more time. A truly enlightened person will plant seeds to shade trees he never gets to sit underneath.
Mm-hmm.
Who's he planting the seeds for?
Not himself.
Other people, or
Grandkids?
animals,
Tree of life?
Yeah.
Yeah, think about it. So, I mean, so what kind of seeds are we planting today? Oh, we got a PS5 under the tree?
Right.
Or did we plant trees today? Did we plant love today? Did we feed that homeless person on the corner today? Did we plant seeds of love? And who knows, that homeless person that we go show love to on the corner might end up being a Fortune 5 CEO one day that could employ your kid?
Yeah.
It's true. This is
You never know.
crazy time.
What's weird, man, is I call Brooklyn all the time. I'm like, the simulation's getting weird. And I say it in a joking way, but also it does get weird, man. Like, we had a situation where we were going through Walmart one day, and there was a guy working on a broken freezer, and he had his shit everywhere. I mean, tools thrown everywhere, parts of this freezer thrown everywhere. And as a customer, I'm walking by that, and I know my manager would not have any of that. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I told Brooklyn, I was like, damn, you should clean some of this shit up. And Brooklyn's like, shut up. And he heard me as we walked by, and I was like, no, he should know. And like, I looked at him, I was like, he should know that he should clean this up. Mm-hmm. And then not a week later, I was on a job for what ended up being his supervisor, and I was offered his job.
Huh.
I was like, he was telling me that he was like, I'm not trying to take you from your job. If you're happy, that's great. This is kind of what the job encompasses. I was like, do you guys work on the freezers in Walmart? And he was like, yeah, we do. I was like, you happen to like have an employee that was working on a broke down meat freezer in there? He was like, yeah, he's not with us anymore. I was like, wait. So the guy that I just told to clean his shit up is now no longer with you, and you're trying to hire me in his place.
Isn't that wild?
Yeah, and I called Brooke. I was like, this is getting weird. One time I was going to a job interview. I stopped at a gas station. This was a couple years ago, but I stopped at a gas station to grab a drink and a breakfast sandwich because it was bright and early in the morning. I went into the bathroom, took a piss right beside the guy who would eventually interview me about 30 minutes later.
Small world.
And what was weird is you go into a job interview and it's naturally dominant and submissive, right? You're the employer and I'm the employee. I have to sell myself to you. Mm-hmm. But when you stand beside him with your dick out and you're both pissing, looking at the ceiling, trying not to make eye contact with each other, Bryce, I'll call you back after the show. When you walk into that interview, it's suddenly a level playing field.
Yeah.
Because it's like, wait, we're just two dudes. Like, we just took a piss beside each other. I know you didn't wash your hands.
The spell is broken.
Right.
Yeah, there's no
enchantment. There's no...
Okay, so I'm glad you put that perspective out there. Like, check this out. So why do people put celebrities on pedestals?
I don't know. I've never understood that.
Wait a minute. Then I'm going to say that one more time. Why do people put celebrities, athletes, people that are just like me and you, why are they placed on pedestals? And I think that's why I've had a pretty good rapport with the people that I've encountered. Mm-hmm. Or just on a television network. I've been given the opportunity to network and meet some other pretty prominent people, if you will, but they're just like me and you guys. You know what I mean? So like, if say Michael Jordan were to walk in the room right now, I guarantee you one of you would immediately try to find something to sign.
No.
I'd grab that poster board and be like,
Chase would
bam,
probably...
I'm not even going to lie. I mean...
So, but check this out. So how many people had that same reaction. As soon as they see Michael Jordan, oh my God, what do I have that he can sign?
Here, you get a phone out picture, you know.
Instead, just, hey, what's up, Mike? Do you want to sit down? You want to have do you want to have a conversation? Now, how many people need to be reminded, especially at those levels of pedestal, that they're normal, man, and they want normal conversation, and they want normal friendship, and they don't want to be treated as that they're almighty.
Well, that's what you hear from people like, Joe Rogan, Bert Kreischer. I listen to their podcasts, and that's what they're saying. Like, it's so weird because they don't feel like anybody. They feel like a normal person. Yeah. So it's super weird when people freak out over who they are. And Bert Kreischer said it on his podcast. He was like, I wish that for once someone would just shake my hand and say, I like what you're doing. Keep it up.
Absolutely.
Like a dad.
In a normal, normal tone,
like
just, I like what you're doing. Keep it up. I like what you do. Your comedy, it makes me laugh. I appreciate you. And instead of freaking out, let me get a selfie. Can I get a picture with you? Can you sign this for my wife? Oh my God, we're the biggest fans in the world.
Exactly.
And
so thinking about how many people with that knowledge that you could network with, and with that exact knowledge, you're talking to them just like you're talking to me.
Yeah.
And you don't get overly excited. Are you willing to network with and actually reach out and talk to? Like, oh my God, I can't call him, or I can't send him that email because I'm going to get immediately rejected.
Oh yeah.
How
you don't know me. I'm fucking shameless, bro.
This guy.
Then that's what's up. I need you on the team. But like, you know what I mean? Like,
I'm shameless.
that's been one of my biggest problems. Like, oh my God, that person won't give me the time of day. Well, I've immediately put an expectation on them, then haven't I?
Yep.
I've immediately put them on a level or a pedestal that I can no longer reach because I've automatically put them in a category that I'm not worthy of receiving.
It's a good way of putting that. I never really thought about it like that.
I consistently have the attitude of the worst I can get is a no.
Bam. That's a great attitude.
So
to
I
have.
send a ton of emails. I send a ton of direct messages on social media. I send a ton of shit because one of these times it'll be a yes.
I look forward to actually after this podcast is finalized, man. I look forward to you getting a lot more views. And I actually look forward to you all blowing up.
Well,
And,
we look forward to it too.
This
man.
is the very first podcast that I've ever been a part of.
Very cool.
So I definitely appreciate you guys allowing me this opportunity.
Our pleasure, man.
And 2021 is going to be very lucrative for the two of you. I can guarantee it.
Hey, man, I like to hear that.
You have an established platform here. It's very professional. I appreciate what you guys are doing, definitely. And I don't know how long we've been on here. I'm not rushing off by any means. I just want to say this, like, for all those who are watching or will watch, like,
Or listen.
or listening.
That's right.
It's 2020. The vision is Christmas, Christ, Mas, more Christ. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays if you don't celebrate Christmas, Kwanzaa, Hanukkah, and all the other holidays that are out there. Happy Festivus, if you know what I'm saying. Festivus might be before you guys' time.
Before mine. I don't know
Seinfeld, if you know about Festivus. But like what I'm getting at is like, let's remember the reason for the season, and the main reason is love. And I appreciate you guys extending love and the hospitality.
Yeah, man.
Appreciate the open door. And
That's what this podcast is all about, man. This podcast will have any human being that was willing to walk through that door, sit in front of the microphone, and share their story. The last thing we want to be confused with as some sort of podcast where we're trying to push some sort of agenda or make people think a certain way or act a certain way. And we get so excited when we have guests like you who are willing to talk and express themselves, go into their backstory, and give a brutally honest look at themselves.
and be uniquely you.
Yeah.
That's the best kind of conversation.
Yeah. So, no, thank you for coming in here and being
Appreciate
willing
it.
to be completely honest with you about not just the successes you've had, but your struggles.
oh, absolutely.
One of the best things about this podcast that I've noticed as well is that we've had a lot of opportunity to talk to people about when they've failed and when they've succeeded. And the most intense, in-depth conversations come from when people have failed. And what they want to talk about is like, hey, look, yeah, I failed, but I got over it.
That's
Like,
my favorite fucking thing, man.
Yeah.
Because I fail every damn day.
All right, check this out, guys.
And so to know other people do too, it
So,
makes me feel better.
yeah.
Like I was recently just on Bravo. It's a television series called Don't Be Tardy. Kim Bierman, Her
Don't Be
daughter,
What?
Don't
Tardy?
Be Tardy.
Okay, yeah.
It's season 8, episode 2, Bugs, Boots, and Bombshells. And Corey Bierman, who plays for the Atlanta Falcons.
Okay.
His wife, Kim Bierman. They have 2 beautiful daughters, Ariana and Brielle.
I would love that last name.
And Bierman, yeah.
Bierman?
But check
Get a
this out.
sponsor
So,
by Bush.
they put me on their television show, and it's because I look so much like Matthew McConaughey.
You
apparently.
do.
A couple people said in
it's
the chat
striking.
too. They
Yeah.
said, "Is that Matthew McConaughey?"
It is striking. Let me get an all right.
All right.
There it is.
No, but anyway,
Sorry.
other than that, no, like, check this out. So, like, right before my 30th birthday last year, I was the president of the Oxford House. It's like a recovery living, living in a beautiful home right across the street from the health park. I'm the president of this house, and I'm getting into this spiritual walk again. I'm starting to talk to God, and God's like, leave everything behind and go to Nashville. I've got something planned for you. You follow through with your dreams. So on my 30th birthday, I pack a bag, I leave my home, and I go live homeless in Nashville. And I'm living homeless in Nashville for my birthday present. I was living in a beautiful home, had a great job. Like, hey, checking in, bye, quit, I'm free, and just left. And I got on a bus, went to Nashville, and stayed for 2 weeks. Getting ready to leave Nashville, homeless Nashville is hard, very hard.
Yeah.
Whole different world.
Homeless anywhere is
Homeless
hard.
anywhere is hard, but
Yeah.
homeless Nashville is the real deal, guys. I'm gonna tell you that right now. Homeless
Yeah.
Nashville, downtown Nashville, raw. It's hardcore. End up meeting a beautiful soul by the name of Vivica Davis. She's an actress, and she's been pouring into me spiritually a lot. And we have big plans. She's out in Oakland, California, waiting on me. Can't wait to get out there and sit down with her and run over some scripts for some documentaries and things that we'll be working on in 2021. The cannabis movement as well as the hemp movement. $50 million for a hemp industrial foundation or center, to industrialize hemp instead of trying to market it as a CBD oil or a tincture or something you can smoke. No, we're going to use hemp the correct way as textiles. We're going to use it for clothing. We're going to use it for building products. We're going to use the textile. And we're working on a documentary, 2021. It'll be coming. And I also, getting ready to leave, I'm on the river right across from the Titan Stadium. Wake up one morning and was like, God, why am I doing this? Like, like straight up, like I'm talking to you, like I'm talking to him, like, God, what am I doing out here?
Yeah.
Man? I've got to go home. Like, what in the world am I doing? Haven't eaten. I'm starving. Don't got any money. I'm on this phone, like, I'm saying, like trying to entertain people, I'm saying, like trying to keep this positive attitude. And like, I let go and I was like, I started tearing up, man. I was like, God, I know you've got me. Show me a sign, let me know. And like about that time, I see this rainbow come over the stadium, right? And like, to my understanding, a rainbow is a promise, like a promise from God. Just be patient, I've got you. Yeah. Within 2 hours, I'm on national television, getting to promote my music.
That's what's up.
And all I had to do was be patient and pray, man. Like that's what I'm trying to tell you. Like patience and prayer, like right there. Like if you have faith, why worry? And if you worry, why pray? Like if you're praying, there's no reason to worry, right? And if you prayed, then why are you still worrying? Do you trust God? Like, you know what I'm saying? Do you trust God? Like, you just prayed. Like, do you really trust God? And if you do, what are you worried about? Just enjoy it. Enjoy life and get ready. Stay ready. Be vigilant. You never know when your time or your opportunity is going to come, man. So, like real deal. Like, I'd almost like to leave the broadcast with that. Like, I don't know why, but, like, it's so to be solidified right there. Like, patience, prayer, persistence, you know what I'm saying? Like true dedication to your craft. Like, and that means finding out there's only one you. There's only one you in the entire world. There's not another you. You might have a doppelganger. There might be an evil twin that kind of looks like you, but there's not another you unless they cloned you, and that's a whole different episode.
Yeah, tune in next time.
But what I'm getting at is like figure out what you're the best at and do it, dude. Like if you there's only one you, so shine bright, figure it out. And do it. Just do it. Nike up and do it. And
Nike up and do it.
Just Nike up and do it, man. And shine bright for the world, man. And be the diamond.
What do you feel like? Do you feel like God is the Christian biblical definition of God,
or I think God is everything or God is nothing?
Everything and nothing.
God is everything or God is no thing. So I think a lot of people need to be really careful about casting shade. And a lot of people need to be really careful about throwing stones in the glass house. God is everything or God is no thing, the Alpha and the Omega. So a lot of these people that are claiming, like, I know my way is right and this way is wrong, we need to go talk to God and check him.
No.
And you're saying God is within you. God is that gut instinct.
God's in your heart.
Right. So,
The blood of Jesus runs through my veins, man. I got a tattoo that says bloodline.
okay.
So, I mean, that's why I know Yahweh, like I am that I am, Yeshua, like, and like, I know because I've lived it. Like, I don't need anybody's opinion. I don't need anybody's approval. Like, I know the life that I've lived, and it's not to be blatant or arrogant. It's I'm boastful and proud for what the Lord has done in my life. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know that wholeheartedly. Like, I have pride for the things that I've accomplished. I have pride for the obstacles that I've overcome, and I know it's only due to the Holy Spirit that I've even been possible. It's even been possible, and it's by His grace and His mercy that I give life every day. And it humbled me up. Like I died literally. I was brought back to life from death, from the depths of Sheol, like it refers to in the Bible, from the pits of hell.
What do you think it's all for? Well, like
To do what I'm doing right now.
well, not just
do what I'm doing
your
right
life,
now.
but what do you think it's all for?
To love each other to a new level. That we all find this vibrational harmony amongst ourselves, and we grow and transform into a being that we are not even capable of understanding.
So do you think being human is a trial?
Absolutely.
Okay. So it's to see with no
It's a heart check.
boundaries,
It's
no
a heart
limits.
check. It's a heart check.
I see.
The secret to living, here's the secret to living: being able to do with everything and being able to do with nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And being content either way. I mean, you can still have a heart and show love to people when you have nothing to give.
Mm-hmm.
You win.
And the nice thing is that my next question is going to be like, well, what about those people born on third base who never experience nothing, but they do?
They get humbled up in the end.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's plenty of people like that.
They get humbled up in the end. Remember, the meek inherit the world. So when the money crashes and the power grid shuts down, who do you think the people are really going to be the leaders? Not the people who've been eating off of daddy's credit card their whole life.
Mm-hmm.
Might be those hunters and gatherers you were talking about earlier. Might be the people living real humbly on the river. Might be the people who are doing without are going to have everything that you need.
You never know.
Remember
Could be the
that.
meanest, nastiest
certainly be
son of a bitch
adapted.
with a stick.
It'd certainly
Yeah.
be adapted.
Yeah, there is a lot to be said about that. There is literally a never-ending debate about what the stuff we've been talking about tonight.
I know. I love getting a different perspective on it, man. Because,
Yeah.
like I said, I feel like I've got a lot of maybes, a lot of I don't know where I stands, and a lot of selfishness left in me.
You're still young, bro.
Right, which
Keep pursuing, man.
I'm
Pursue
not going to
Christ.
blame it on my
Just
age.
pursue
but
Christ, dude. Just know that
Yeah.
pursue Christ. And I say that now with a jaded perspective. Christ is Christo, meaning one body.
Mm-hmm.
So just pursue the oneness, pursue the wholeness, the ideology that you are everything or you are nothing, dude. You're a piece of the puzzle. Don't
Well, I mean,
forget it.
earlier, even when you said, like, I'm not religious, but what I do believe in, several of the things that you named were Judeo-Christian values.
right.
So, and that's fine. Like,
Yeah.
that. The thing is, it's so prevalent in our society that even somebody who's not religious is shown the way. So we have made significant progress in that aspect, but there's also so many people that push against it in like a negative way. Like, there's so many people that are like, we should destroy religion. We should wipe out the moral fabric that is religion. We should completely eradicate it so that we can move on from it and create our own system of values. But the problem is, many of those people that want to do those things want to destroy that system, that foundation, without having something to replace
For
it.
their own personal gain as well.
Yeah, and here's the thing. There are many of those people who are married to that idea do so because it makes them money. There's so many guys that have sold books and sold movies and documentaries about how Christians have lied to you, how Muslims have lied, how all religion has lied to you.
Yeah.
But they don't ever address the fact that you can't just believe in nothing. You can't.
Well,
You can't.
People,
You
I don't
just
think
can't.
people are capable of believing in.
They're
nothing.
not. They have to believe in something.
Yeah.
Whether it be, I believe that, this is the right way of doing things, or so-and-so, whoever tells me how to conduct myself is my God. There's so many people that look up to like celebrities and they idolize them as a God.
Mm-hmm.
And we talked about earlier in the podcast about people who idolize celebrities who aren't willing to give back, or who aren't willing to put themselves in the shoes of those people that worship them so much. And that goes to show that, when you worship those false gods, a lot of bad things can happen to you. When you meet somebody that is like completely obsessed with the Kardashians, are they in a good mental state? Have you met anybody that's like completely obsessed with like a TV show and like they
yes, I have, but no,
like
they're
they
not
have
good. Yeah.
rooms, they worship that stuff like it is. I know people that had entire rooms decked out to The Walking Dead. I know people same with video games too,
Okay, check
especially
this. I'm glad you mentioned that. So you're
Because-
talking about idolization, right? In the Bible,
there's a lot of that in our society.
In the
this
Bible,
is
it's
true.
called idolatry. Okay, how many people put Jesus Christ on a cross as idolization? Now, check this out. So Jesus returns, right? Jesus comes back to earth. Do you really think he wants to see crosses everywhere? Whoa,
I probably wouldn't if I was
wait a
him.
minute. I'm gonna say it one more time. So Jesus returns to earth. I don't think he ever left personally, but I'm not going to go there right now. He's still here. He walks amongst us. Do you really think the risen Christ, the one who has returned, wants to see crosses everywhere?
Well, it symbolizes his sacrifice, right?
What about the life that he lived? How does that not symbolize his sacrifice? What about all the miracles that he performed? Now, I think that a lot of people focus on the death, and some people focus on the rising. Some people focus on the ascension. But truly, like I used to wear a cross, like I used to, and like now I don't. Like I wear a Star of David. You know what I mean? It's the 6-point star. A lot of people refer to Judaism. Like it's the only reason I started wearing
I
this.
love it, man. It's
I wear
Dude,
this.
you are
it's the Star of David. Like, I don't
unique
wear
individual.
spiritual.
Like, I don't wear the cross anymore. I gave away
Really?
my cross to a Mason that was crying on the river. Like there was a Freemason that was crying on the river, and I took off my crucifix off my neck. I never took it off. It was like my dog tags. I tore it off and I gave it to him. I said, "Here, you can have it." And then I leveled up to the Star of David, which is the bright morning star it refers to in Revelation, and that's who Jesus Christ is. You know what I'm saying? And I think that, in all honesty, like the 6-point star is a better representation on how I want to live instead of a crucifix. So that's my interpretation on how I'm going to live my life. You know what I'm saying? I'd much rather be a bright morning star than a dead man on a stick.
That is a beautiful sentiment, and
we need to give away that other shirt. Chase.
yeah, I was about to get to it. We are getting at that time of the episode.
Yeah.
I mean, you're
Coming up
literally
on
just
8.
you're just dropping bombs right now, so it's hard to just randomly cut you off.
You good, bro?
What'd you say?
I said it's coming up on 8. Let's give
It
away
is coming
that
up
other
on
shirt,
8.
man.
So we got a few people in the chat. And for this next giveaway, we've got, let me put me back in the frame here for you guys. So you can, there we go. This last one we got here, another Bluegrass Outfitters.
Oh,
This
that's
one's
beautiful, man.
black long sleeve. And we got the big old bear on the
Ooh,
back.
I'm keeping that one.
Big old bear on the back there. So this t-shirt is going out to somebody in the chat as well.
First person to comment,
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. There we go. First
So-
person to comment, Merry Christmas.
That's right.
And then once
Merry
we read
Christmas.
your name, message me after the show.
That's right. But we
That's a
appreciate-
cool shirt, man.
Yeah.
Shout out to Bluegrass Outfitters for hooking up this giveaway and this dope ass hat on my head that we're definitely not giving away.
Yeah. Yeah. Shout out to, once again, to our sponsor for this podcast, which is Bluegrass Outfitters. They have all the apparel you need for your outdoor excursions. Hit them up on Facebook, or you can go to www.bluegrassoutfitters.shop and check out all their merchandise there, or any other social media platform that you can find Bluegrass Outfitters. So,
Absolutely. Guys, we appreciate you all tuning in tonight. Casey, thanks
Oh,
for
I got
coming
one
in,
more for
man.
you guys. I got one
Go
more for you
ahead.
guys.
Go ahead. Drop
Before
it.
Before I jump off here, man, we've been pretty serious, right? So my brother's name is Griffin Kelly, very good friends with DJ. He's
I
a-
went to
hey-
high school, Griffin.
He was like, "Hey man," he's like, "Beware, man. These guys are real shitheads. If you're going on this, the exact words. out of my
Guilty
brother's
as
mouth.
charged.
Like, the exact words out of my brother's
Jared-
mouth. He was like,
Jared
"Listen,
Phillips, you just won the t-shirt.
Jared Phillips,
Merry
congratulations.
Christmas,
Message
Jared.
the
Christmas
page
to
or
you.
message me directly, and we'll
All
get
right,
that shirt
so
to you.
Colton, I saw you trying to steal that shirt. You can't have two.
So my brother straight up, he was like, "Man, watch out for these guys. They're real shitheads. They're gonna try to clown on you. They're gonna try to make fun of you." But
We do our fair bit of clowning.
So the thing about it was, I was like, "So what are they doing in the show?" He's like, "Man, they just try to have a good time." So we've been pretty serious for Christmas, right? But like, I'm gonna share one song with you guys that might lighten y'all up. It's more of a funny thing that I'm doing.
Okay.
I'll give y'all a heads up. This one's called "Hey Y'all Yeehaw." So I see you giving out like all this Bluegrass Outfitters gear. You know what I'm saying, for like country boys, hunting white boy wasted stuff. You know what I'm saying? So here's a song I got for y'all. Here's just the hook. It goes, "Hey y'all, yeehaw, let's get white boy wasted, do the watermelon crawl. How no, hell no." Two Trailer Park Girls are about to brown. Now that right there will be a hit in 2020. It's Hey Yo, Yeehaw.
Hell yeah, man.
Hell yeah.
On that note, guys, please
One love, guys.
head to our page, drop a like, get notifications when we go live, not only for our podcast, but for our brand new series, TCP Plays. If you haven't checked it out already, we live stream everything from Warzone to whatever the fuck Chase likes to play. And definitely drop us a like, guys. Follow the page. We appreciate all of you. We love you guys. See you back here next Wednesday at 6 o'clock.